Going to be interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 1, match number 2 of the day. We're jumping into that land of dawn to see this matchup. Now, speaking of the drafts, right, let's take a look at both of these teams. I want to actually point out that Insomniacs, they have a huge range advantage when it comes to these team fights, right? They have the Yves, they have the Clint, huge range. Meanwhile, Team First Blood, they're going to have to spend a little bit more of their resources to actually gap close.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, and it might be they're going to have to spend resources to gap close, but you do have Joybaj on that show, so it's going to come down. Oh, actually taking a pretty decent amount of damage, is going to be able to get away. But with Joybaj on this show, he might be able to kind of get in there and isolate a single member, and that might be what they're kind of banking on instead of trying to get their entire team to close in.
The timing as to how that happened, bro. I was literally reading a comment in chat about how someone's saying that, oh, why would you pick the Faramis over a Savior? Well, maybe the kill pressure that it has, it's very underrated, you know? In the early game, if you get your combos in, yeah, Yve's not going to survive that easily. Sure, in the poking game, in the poking division, Ashley is going to have a much better time in lane. But the thing is, if Hunter can gap close, it's going to be huge for him, putting on that kill pressure. But yeah, in the early game, this is exactly how how we expect it to play. Insomniacs with the Dyroth will be able to win out that lane. Regrets as well in that goal lane. He's going to be able to withstand the pressure, even without the help of his Dromer. But obviously, with the Ling rotating towards that top side, Dark has rotated as well here. He's trying to provide some cover, goes in for the bouncing ball. Kid has to be very careful here. Taken to a quarter of his HP. Dark goes in for that charge, doesn't connect it just yet. Both teams still playing it really safe, but Insomniacs first onto the turtle.
Yeah, I mean, not able to make much happen up at the top, but they are kind of closing the distance here on this turtle to see if they're going to be able to get it.
Oh, even with the lethal counter, it's still Kid who gets that retribution. Dark, though, goes in for re-engage. Will be able to just, stun Joybaj out with the bouncing ball, canceling out his dashes, but with the Shunpu, he is unstoppable. He can get through that bouncing ball. And now we already see that, again, Team First Blood, they're in the lead, with the Faramis in the mid lane, clearing out the waves. With Joybaj going in, he gets away the Dragon Jikundo combo. Ashley forced to flicker out. They might be looking for the dive. They get it. That's the real world manipulation. Popped and canceled straight away. Kid jumps in with the Tempest of Blade. And that's why you pick Faramis. There you go. That's the answer.
And this is what I was talking about. Why do you need the engagement if you have the pole and the way of the dragon from First Blood? The combination of that just beautifully executed onto Ashley there.
It's so good. That was such a good combo by Joybaj, right? He noticed and Ashley kind of reacted a little bit too late there. You can see it here again. Oh, meanwhile, though, wait a minute, the top side Dart, he actually gets a Tyrant's Rage onto 4 members, but the thing is, with that Cult Altar, that's the thing that you just mentioned. It's gonna be tough for him to survive these dives. Even under the turret, it does not matter. Early on, with that extra durability under the turret, it still doesn't matter. The Cult Altar gives more.
Yeah, it's just amazing. We're starting to see Team First Blood even here in the early game, which is where we thought that they were going to start struggling. Right now, they're still taking a commanding lead. And I fear that as we start moving into the mid to late game, it's going to be a little even rougher. But we do see an engagement here up at top.
Oh, Regrets getting pulled back into that blazing duet. Joybaj with the way of the dragon. He didn't need to, but it's fun. It's fun. He gets some style points. 2-0-2 on the roaming Cho. Meanwhile, in the mid lane as well, they're rotating so well. They're not letting Insomniacs trade anywhere on the map. You can already see Luffy. Once he clears out that bottom side, he goes into that mid lane, just helping his team. As we all know, Faramis with that maneuverability wants to rotate a lot, but now it is going to be Yeho who looks for the trade. He will be able to get it with the lethal counter this time around, so they're finally getting objectives on the board.
Yeah, and I feel like that first objective, that first turtle, maybe a bit of a misplay, kind of got into the mind. Oh, did you see a way of the dragon up at mid?
Oh, Ashley again. He's gonna fall, and guess who gets the kill? It's still Joybaj. Killing spree on this Cho. He might as well build damage at this point, but you can already see Kid now caught. He backs off though, still managing to do so. Doesn't get the orange buff. Yeho has that 1 level lead on him, but man, Joybaj has been getting a lot of kills.
Yeah, and this is why I thought that this was a very interesting pick for Joybaj, because using that show to be able to get in there, we are going to go ahead and take a look at the items here. We do see that that Demon Hunter sword has already been finished off by Gina there. We're still waiting. Clint has gone ahead and picked up that Wind of Nature. So I do feel like the damage is more going towards the side of Claude right now, but we do see them kind of zoning him out and putting a little bit more pressure now onto that gold lane is Insomniacs.
Very good rotation, honestly, right? From both of the teams. Insomniacs knowing that they need to start putting pressure on the plane. Now Dark goes in, and that's going to be the... No, Nicole Ultra. Oh, I was about to say that it wasn't popped just yet, but at first just goes through it. Joybot, though, he goes up and away the dragon. Jikundo flicker all around his kid. Just takes all of the blades. They somehow find a trade off of that, and they don't lose out. They only lose out on Hunter there. But again, on this Faramis, very mobile. Is able to get back into lane very fast. Luffy, though, caught right now. Not going to be able to connect that Abyssum Strike. Galax, unfortunately, will not find that kill. It is still Luffy who gets out with the sprint and the consecration.
Who's the jungler here? Because right now Joybaj is just a maniac out there with how he's able to get in and pick off, especially focusing on Ashley. It's just amazing right now what he's able to do as the roamer.
Well, we mentioned this Franco. We might have to mention his Cho next game. Dark going in. Tyrant's Revenge onto Joybot, who still has the Chunpu to get away. Gets Chunk really low. That's him taken down to a quarter of his HP. They might not be able to go for this now as Yeho joins in the fray. He has the lethal counter to chain that retribution with. Regrets also dealing a lot of damage. Going to come down to the retry battle. The kid goes in. He gets pinned down by Dark. Taps the blades defensively to back away, but he gets all of the blades. The re-engage is here. The blazing duet to the back lines, and Kid somehow still survives. Hunter will fall, but look at the damage from Gina God mode. He almost gets a kill. More kills there, but it's only Dark who falls. 1 for 1. The turtle went to the hands of Insomniacs, so it is still them winning out in that trade.
Yeah, winning out in that trade, but man, I definitely saved themselves. You can see as Ling gets caught here, he is able to Tempest the Blades away, and Gina gets caught up at the top, but is safely able to use that Blazing Duet to get out of the way. I don't even think they used Cult Altar here, and that's saying something for Team First Blood, is that they weren't even able to use Cult Altar and still able to take walk away from that fight with very little deaths on their side.
Yeah, and take a look at the items. Ling has hit his power spike with the Berserker's Fury. He's going to be able to dish out so much damage. And again, Joybot on top of that goes in for the way the dragon. He almost gets taken down, but man, Kid and Gino to the rescue. The follow-up and that Berserker's Fury. You can already see the crit piling onto the members of Insomniacs.
Yeah, Gina able to use that Blazing Duet to get them dangerously low. The patience on top of Kid to wait to use that Tempest of Blades until they were about 10% health, and then a very easy cleanup job by him. Amazing combinations by First Blood, and had the synergy on them right now.
Oh man, again, you can already see again, Luffy goes in, he cancels out the recall with the consecration. They might actually be turned, it might be turned here, but again, look at how they're able to just chain and just switch aggro with the turret so well to get that dive on Regrets. It feels so weird, and Kid, again, he's able to dodge away from the Tyrant's Revenge. He gets out, puts some pressure, takes some pressure from his team away, and puts it onto himself in the enemy jungle. All lanes winning. God mode getting a solo kill against Galaxy, but he might, no, it's just a solo kill. I thought for a second there, the Galaxies might be able to turn it around with the Abyssum Strike. He doesn't even have it there. So, man, all lanes winning for Team First Blood.
Yeah, right now they are so dominant. Even like I was saying, that synergy that we were seeing from them. And right now, the gold lead being stretched out to about 3K. Not terrible, but right now, I mean, they're using every inch of this. Right now, they're even zoning them out. I mean, this Lord isn't even going to be contested because there's not much that Insomniacs can do. Joybaj is just, I mean, you cannot even be like caught out walking around because he's definitely going to be there. You see him jumping up like in here. Land the way of the dragon.
Yeah, again onto Yeho. No follow-up just yet, though, and that's going to be Galaxies who jumps in onto Luffy. That's a real-world manipulation as well, popped and used, but it's only onto Luffy. Luffy can get out of these situations pretty easily. Regen back up, no problem. Gina, though, This Cloud is gonna be a problem, man. He already had, like, he got that DHS very early into the game. He probably has the Golden Staff now and the Brute Force as well, adding on to that defense. This is gonna be a very, very scary Claude. Joybosh, though, again, such a menace. Just him, he's always finding these plays. He actually, with that play, is able to bait out the flicker away. Joybosh looking for another one, goes in for the Jeet Kune Do. With that, he is able to zone everyone away from that turret. Bottom side siege starting as God mode. Gina God mode goes for it and takes out the tier 2.
Just the fear you see from Insomniacs as you see that Jeet Kune Do skipping towards them. They're like, all right, everybody back up because this dude is going to come in and latch onto somebody. But man, right now, there's very little that Insomniacs can do. They have to play safe. They have to kind of split up to take out these lanes because right now, this is all first blood. And this is what I was talking about when you come with this burst. The early game was going to go to them, but you have to catch them. And this team is so mobile. Oh my God.
Again, Joybosh goes in, but look at Dark. He goes in for the follow-up, is able to get a Tyrant's Rage onto 2 members, but doesn't even matter. Kid comes in with a Tempest Ablaze. He gets a double. He's looking for the triple, but Joybosh doesn't give it to him. God mode, he goes in for the Battle Mirror Image. The Wind of Nature finally there by Regrets, used to survive, trying to outplay, but the damage is just not enough from Regrets to take Gina down. And at this point, again, it's still all team first blood on top of that huge engage. They still weren't able to find more than just one trade.
How many times have you seen a Claude be able to stand toe-to-toe with a Clint in a duel off there? That just tells you how far ahead that First Blood is right now. And look at this. You see that cold altar coming out to sustain onto Team First Blood here. There's not much that Insomniacs are able to do, even when they have like the greatest setup there.
Man, like, you know, I want to give props to Ling, but right now, Joybosh has a better KDA, right? So he's been doing so much for the team. He goes in once again, but he might be punished here. Dark goes in for Titan's Rage, and that's the Abyssum Strike to follow it through. Doesn't connect just yet. Lethal counter onto the backside. His Kid jumps in, and that's the combo. Wombo, Regrets falls. Dark as well. Yeho is next, and that's all of the kills going over again to Team First Blood. Obviously, in true Team First Blood manner, Joybosh has to take a kill away, right? He's still he's 6 kills. He's still leading.
Have to pay that Joybosh tax in these team fights to take away that kill there, as they are going to focus on that Lord. But man, that team fight, a perfect setup again by Insomniacs. That surprise Tyrant's Rage into the corner here. Look how great he's able to set this up, is Dark, with the real world manipulation coming down. But then that cold altar comes out and Kid into the back line with all that damage, and this team fight turns dangerous and bad for Insomniacs.
Yeah, Claude unkillable, Uranus unkillable, even Kid at this point. So squishy. He actually decides to go. He opts to go for the Scarlet Phantom. Let's see how that plays out. So far, he's still on 0 deaths, even without any defensive items. But look at that. Real world manipulation gonna be popped there to clear out the way. It's Kid jumping in. Gonna get canceled out by the bouncing bomb, but the Cold Altar and him flickering forward, bringing Ashley back. Abyssum Strike finds one. Galaxy is able to flicker out. Regrets going in, using the Wind of Nature to survive, and that's a 1 for 0. 1 for 1, technically, if you count the turret. Team First Blood still getting the favorable trade. They only lost Faramis in that fight.
Yeah, and then very smartly, as soon as they lost Faramis, disengaged right away. They got what they came for. They got a turret, and their job there was done, as they're going to go ahead and kind of reset on the map to make sure that the pressure can still keep, they can still keep that pressure onto Insomniacs here. Joybosh 6-0-10 right now. It's amazing how well these guys are doing against a veteran team like Insomniacs.
I'd usually, you know, if my roamer takes that many kills, I'd usually be pretty pissed. But if you keep making those kind of plays, you know, I'm all right. It's all right. You know, I gotta pay that tax, right? So it's fine. And again, look at how he's positioning. He's just such a menace. He's going to bait out so many more battle spells. We already saw the flicker burned from Ashley, I think 3 minutes ago, and that that, you know, basically kind of pinned Ashley down. And again, Joybotch going in, where the dragon bringing Yeho back, he just finds it at will, and Kid comes in to follow it through. Yeho caught low, Colt Ultra as well was popped, so Kid, he can just go in, dive, he doesn't care without any defensive items, he's godlike. Hunter bringing Regrets back, the Wind of Nature cannot save you because Joybotch is there to just zone you out, he will not even die. That's the first game secured by Team First Blood, 1-0, as dominant as ever.
I mean, as Chris